Welcome aboard, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. Having a bad hair day. Hold on. Welcome aboard to my Health Talk, live Health Talk radio program where we pull back the curtain on how medicine is delivered in the not-so-free world. 46 individuals die every day in the United States from an overdose of prescription painkillers, according to a new report from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. 46 individuals a day. That's the equivalent of 16,790 a year. 16,790 people a year die because of a medication that their MD prescribed for them, and they overdosed on it. It's nearly 17,000 people. Now, the average carrying capacity of a Boeing 767 is 289. If we divide 16,790 by 289, we get the remarkable total of 58. 58. This is an equivalent of 58 Boeing 767s crashing every year. The equivalent of 58 Boeing 767s crashing every year. That's more than one a week. Now, if one Boeing 767 crashed every week, how long do you think it would take before the government stepped in and did something about it? It'd take about a week, right? Take about a week. One plane goes down, they shut everything down, they go over the records, they go over the computer programs, they go over every little teeny screw and nut in order to figure out what went wrong. But when the MDs kill people, everybody gets a pass. We just shrug our shoulders, turn the other cheek and walk the other way. Healthcare providers wrote 259 million prescriptions for opioid painkillers in 2012. 259 million prescriptions. That's enough for every American adult to have their own bottle of pills. Prescriptions for opioid painkillers were distributed unevenly throughout the U.S. Healthcare providers in the highest prescribing state wrote almost 3 times as many opioid painkiller prescriptions per person as those in the lowest prescribing state. 10 of the highest prescribing states are in the South. Alabama, Tennessee, and West Virginia had the most painkiller prescriptions per person. The opioid prescriptions range from a low of 52 for every 100 people, which is still awfully high, in Hawaii to an extraordinary 143 per 100 people in Alabama. The Northeast had the most per-person prescriptions for long-acting painkillers and for high-dose painkillers, especially Maine and New Hampshire. That's right, up there in Maine. You got some hard-working people up there in the Maine North Woods. Oh, that's the truth right there, Skipper. When you look at specific opioids, the inconsistencies are even larger. There were nearly 22 times as many prescriptions written for oxymorphone in Tennessee as were written in Minnesota. Many of the states with high rates are the ones that have the most serious problem with overdoses. We think opioids are likely to be overprescribed in these states. The findings are based on an analysis of prescribing data for the year 2012 and were collected from retail pharmacies in the United States. And here's the conclusion. Healthcare providers can use prescription drug monitoring programs to identify patients who might be misusing drugs, putting them at risk for overdose, and use effective treatments such as methadone for appropriate patients with substance abuse problems. Are you kidding me? So it's the patient's fault, right? It's the patient's fault that the patient is walking into the doctor's office, holding a gun to the doctor's head, ordering them to write another prescription, right? Is that how it goes? No, that's not how it goes. The doctor writes the prescription. Again, the MDs pass the buck. Can't be their fault. It's got to be the lazy-ass patient. It has to be the, politically incorrect patient. Can't be the doctor's fault. Well, I got to tell you something. When you write a prescription for opioid painkillers, you can't refill the bottles. The doctor needs to be in charge of this. These are big, bad voodoo daddy drugs. Big, bad voodoo daddy drugs. 46 people die a day because of MD incompetence. It's incompetence on the medical doctor's it's incompetence. But the media will never ever spin it this way. They will always tell you, oh, it's, those crazy people in the hills of Tennessee. That's who it is. It's the river people. It's the backwoods people. That's who it is. It's the crackheads. That's who's dying. Well, no, it's not. It's people just like you and people just like me who have, well, not people like me. People who have given their trust over to the MDs and who actually believe that the MD knows what's best for them, and that trust has been flaunted to such a remarkable degree that people die. This, by the way, is the tip of the iceberg. 780,000 people die a year because of MD-directed medical treatments. 780,000 people a year die. So let's do some math, okay? 780,000 people, 780,000 divided by 365 days in the year. That equals 213 people a day. That's the equivalent of little under 767 aircraft falling out of the skies every day, not every week, every day, every day. How long do you think we'd put up with that? Well, we wouldn't. We put up with it in the medical industry because for 100 years we have been culturally conditioned by Big Pharma to believe that the pharmaceutical industry is God's only healer, that the pharmaceutical industry is your only option when you are sick and suffering, that the pharmaceutical industry just needs to be gotten out of the way of. They know what's best for you. Do not get in the way of Big Pharma. Let Big Pharma do whatever Big Pharma wants to do because Big Pharma is your only hope. This is the lie that you've been culturally conditioned to believe. This is the matrix inside of which you are embedded. This is the rabbit hole through which you have fallen. This is the recipe of the Kool-Aid which you have drunk. Ladies and gentlemen, my people are destroyed by lack of knowledge. How much is it going to take? How many more people are going to need to die before you snap out of it? Before your wife and your husband and your parents and your pastor, your church members, your community members, your Rotary members, your Chamber of Commerce colleagues, your workmates. How many people are going to have to die before everybody collectively snaps out of it? 213 people a day. I guess that's not enough. Can you imagine what would happen, right, if postal workers killed 213 people a day? Can you imagine what would happen if taxi cab drivers killed 213 people a day? Can you imagine what would happen if mailmen, postal workers, killed 213 people a day? I mean, there'd be riots. There would be riots. There'd be congressional hearings. There would be, military law, martial law. But no. When the MDs kill people, we give them a pass. I guess MD really does stand for medical deity. And it has fallen on my shoulders and Dr. Wallach's shoulders to paint this picture. Actually, for goodness sake, we're not even painting the picture. We're just standing in front of the picture saying, hey, everybody, look at the picture. Because most people don't want to look at the picture. Most people can't see the picture, even though it's right in front of your face. And where's the best place to hide something? In plain sight. This is so big, such a large phenomenon, that the average human brain just cannot wrap itself around it. Oh my goodness gracious, I can't get on board with this belief. I just don't want, I can't believe it, Dr. Glidden. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I know you can't believe it. That's why you fail. That's why you suffer and die. And that's why your friends, family members, and church members, after you die, will set up a 5K run on your behalf and then give all the money that they raised to the very people that killed you, the pharmaceutical industry and the MDs. This is a perfect storm of cultural conditioning, and you are the unwitting, unwilling victims. Quite frankly, the government has not helped in this regard. The Food and Drug Administration, which holds itself up to be the safekeeper, the safeguard, the safety net, the regulator of the drug industry, who's supposed to stand in between you and Big Pharma, making sure Big Pharma's stuff is safe for you. They're not here to hold your back, to have your back. Food and Drug Administration is here to support the pharmaceutical industry. That's their job. It's not to protect the American citizen. It's to support the pharmaceutical industry, and this is evidence. 46 individuals die every day in the United States from an overdose of prescription painkillers. Now, whose fault is that? It's the Food and Drug Administration's, it's the pharmaceutical industry, and it's the MDs, because they're the ones that are pulling the trigger. By the way, this information comes to you today from Medscape Medical News, medscape.com. Medscape.com, where I go for most of my information about the insanity of conventional medicine. Here's another one. I spoke about this yesterday. I'm holding this up for viewers of the live stream. By the way, join the live stream at thedrgliddenshow.tv, thedrgliddenshow.tv. Life Extension Magazine, right on the front cover in big green letters. Green tea slashes the risk of Alzheimer's. Big green letters. This is an August 2014 edition of Life Extension Magazine. Green tea slashes the risk of Alzheimer's. And everybody gets all excited about this. But everybody, again, misses the glaring fact that's right in front of their face. For 100 years, the MDs have told you that Alzheimer's is genetic and that there's nothing you can do to avoid it. Nothing you can do to avoid it. So if green tea can slash the risk of Alzheimer's, it's not genetic. But you don't see that headline. Medical industry turned on its head. Where is the bad gene? It's nowhere in sight. You're never going to see that because we're in the middle of the medical matrix and your head is their territory, their domain, your mind. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in and turning on. Watch the live video feed and enter the live internet chat room, thedrgliddenshow.tv. The opioid pain use, pain medication thing is bigger. Another article in Medscape, opioid pain use putting America's fighting force at risk. The rising prevalence of chronic pain and or opioid use by combat military personnel in the U.S. is cause for serious concern. In a survey of more than 2,500 service members administered 3 months after they had returned from Afghanistan or Iraq, 44% reported having chronic pain and 15% reported recent use of opioid pain relievers. In contrast, the general population have rates of 26 and 4% respectively. Are warriors 44 and 15%. Of the veterans who had chronic pain, 56 reported daily pain and 48 reported that their pain had been ongoing for at least a year. However, 44% of those who reported using opioids had no pain or only mild pain during the past month. These findings suggest a large unmet need for assessment. Really? Do you think so? This is what they conclude. And, you know, the same thing is true of depression, right? There are more suicides amongst our military personnel than ever before in recorded history. More suicides and more pain. Why on earth do you think this is? Well, the MDs are running around like chickens with their heads cut off trying to figure out what's going on here. But remember, because their medical philosophy, the medical methodology that they have been trained in, allopathic reductionism, does not hold any interest really for the pathogenesis of disease, nor do the MDs who practice allopathic reductionism know anything at all about medical nutrition. And because of this egregious oversight, they are like colorblind art critics. They're like colorblind art critics who do not know they're colorblind, and everybody wonders why their paintings suck. The reason that there's so much pain amongst our veterans and the reason that there is so much suicidal ideation amongst our veterans is because they are all extremely under-nutrified. When you sweat, You don't just sweat out sodium and potassium. You sweat out a mineral and a vitamin soup. A mineral and a vitamin soup. And unless you put that stuff back in the body, it's only a matter of time until something breaks. And if you sweat every single solitary day because you're deployed in the desert in Afghanistan where it's 106 degrees in the shade, or Iraq or Iran, the same thing in the summer months, you're going to be sweating bullets all of the time, all the time. So the military personnel who are deployed in the Mideast, they're sweating 100 times more than you or I sweat, and they're losing nutrients at a much faster rate than we are. And because the MDs involved in the military, because the MDs who work for the VA, because every MD in the world has their head up their ass, our soldiers suffer needlessly. And, you know, there's going to be, and this doesn't even, I'm not even talking about the incompetence in the bureaucracy of the VA. And, you know, the time it takes for you to be treated as a VA patient, I actually think that works in the favor of the veteran, because the longer it takes the VA to treat you, the better you're going to be, because the VA treatments are going to kill you. Dr. Wallach, who's a military veteran, one of my favorite sayings of Dr. Wallach's is there are two places you can give your life for your country, on the battlefield and in the VA. And it's absolutely positively true. Because remember, the chronicity, the root cause of all chronic disease is related to mineral deficiencies and essential nutrient deficiencies. You don't get suicidal ideation because you have the suicide gene. You don't get suicidal ideation because you have a voodoo curse. You don't get chronic pain. You don't get arthritic pain, pain in the shoulders, pain in the neck, pain in the muscles, pain in the joints because you're getting older. These things happen because these parts of your body have, over time and stress, deteriorated because your body a long time ago sweated out the nutrients that it needed to maintain the structural integrity of your brain and the structural integrity of your joints. And so we go from the frying pan into the fire. And remember, the MD therapeutics are not designed to fix the problem. They're only designed to manage it. So when you manage bad brain chemistry with a drug, you're going to kill yourself eventually. When you manage pain with a drug, you're going to need more drugs, and then the drugs are going to kill you because it's an overdose. And I'm the quack. You got to be kidding me. Ladies and gentlemen, every veteran in the world needs to know about this show. Help me spread the word. I am Dr. Peter Glidden, and this is Fire Your MD Now. Bada bing, bada boom. Welcome aboard, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. Phones are ringing off the hook. Let's go to Texas and talk to our old friend Alaric and see how much traction he's gotten with his foot. Alaric, I'm in the mood for some good news. What's happening?
Well, I got the 200 CK of the Apis, and I was taking it. I used it all up, and then a couple of days after it was gone, the foot started going down, one of them anyway.
Okay, very good. How many days were you using it for?
About 8 days.
Okay, and then you stopped, and now the swelling is starting to reduce?
It reduced, but then it now is starting little by little come back. It's sort of like stable on one foot. On the left foot, it came down. It's still a little, but it came down a lot.
Okay, all right. So you need to get your hands on the next potency of Apis, which is 1M. You need to get a vial of Apis in the 1M strength, 1M like Mary. But when you do the 1M strength, I only want you to do 2 pellets twice a day. 2 pellets twice a day of the 1M strength.
2 pellets twice a day, 1M. Okay.
Yeah, do that for 7 days, and then give me a shout back. You're going to have to order that because there isn't any health food store in the world that's going to sell that.
Yeah, I got to make a couple of calls. You're right. That 200K, I had to go all the way to the East Coast to get that one. So. Yeah,
there's a company in Chicago that'll sell it to you. Their website is smallflower.com. Smallflower.com. No spaces, all lowercase, smallflower.com. They're in Chicago. It should take faster to get to you in Texas than from New York or Pennsylvania. That's where I would go for more expeditious handling of your homeopathic needs.
Okay, 1M, 2 pellets twice a day.
Yeah. A positive response is always a good thing. And with homeopathy, often we'll need to increase the strength of the medicine until we get it just right. And when we get it just right, you get, the response to the homeopathic preparation accelerates a great deal.
Thank you very much, Doc.
All right, Alaric, I'll look forward to a call back in about 7 days. Keep the faith and maintain the discipline. Kate from Utah is up next with a question about hormones. Hey, Kate, thanks for the call.
Hi.
You are live.
Hi, Dr. Dr. Glidden. I just tried Dr. Wallach, too. Anyway, I called you last night. I was the seizure lady, and I told you my good report, but I had a question.
Oh,
about, remember me?
Yeah.
And anyway, I was so excited about that. But I have a question about hormones. I have been on these troches from a homeopathic doctor. It's the compound pharmacist that mixes them. She took a blood test and took my levels of hormones when I was going through menopause. And she put me on these troches. I've taken them for about 10 years now. I stuck on them in the morning and night. And they have estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and is it DHEA?
Yeah, dihydroepiandrosterone. Yep.
Yes. Okay. So I have all four because she says I was off on all my levels. They have done haven't had any menopausal symptoms, no hot flashes. She gave me levels to help with libido. But I did still have vaginal dryness, and then the osteoporosis was another reason why she wanted me on these. And so I have taken these for 10 years. They've done fantastic. I haven't had any problems with it that I know of. But I wondered if I am taking the Healthy Body Start Pack, all the, products, and I was wondering, should I stay on these, or should I go to the Women's FX and the HGH along with?
Well, there are two schools of thought about this. All right.
Okay.
And Suzanne Summers and a number of other celebrities were the people who really kind of got this ball rolling and became advocates of bioidentical hormone supplementation. So here's how the story goes. As part of the normal aging process, your hormones, your sex hormones that you have, whether you're a man or a woman, will naturally change. There are a certain level when you're pre-puberty. There are a certain level after puberty. There are a certain level during childbearing years, and then premenopausally and perimenopausally and postmenopausally, they all change. The same thing happens to a lesser degree in men. It's to a less noticeable degree, but your hormone levels naturally change as you cycle through, the beginning, the middle, and the end of your life. Now, there's one school of thought that says, look, that's just the way that it is. Aging is a natural phenomenon that you really shouldn't mess with, and you just need to support your body as a whole, and your body will sort its hormonal levels out all by itself to the degree that it needs to. So your body will figure out what levels of progesterone and estradiol and estrone and estriol and dihydroepiandrosterone and testosterone, pregnenolone, to have, right? Your body knows what to do, and your body will sort it and figure it out. Well, Suzanne Summers comes along and says, look, one of the reasons that our health gets worse as we get older is our hormone levels start to reduce. So Suzanne Summers says one thing that you can do to have a healthy old age is artificially introduce hormones into your body at the same levels they were, or approximate levels that they were when you were in your 20s, when you're in your 60s, 70s, and 80s. And this founded, kind of kick-started the whole medical treatment of bioidentical hormone supplementation. Right now, in the wonderful world of hormone supplementation, you can give synthetic hormones, which is a hormone molecule that never existed before on planet Earth, like Premarin. Premarin, perhaps the most famous, it's made from 2 parts horse hormone, equilin and equilase, and 1 part human hormone, estradiol. Or you can go to a compounding pharmacist and have them manufacture, human hormones, right, which is what you did.
Okay.
Now, so it's your choice. You can do what you want to do. My belief is that when you've eliminated the 10 bad foods and once you've nutrified your body every day with everything that it needs, that your body will sort its own hormone levels out. And we just haven't had enough time go by with women or men who have been on bioidentical hormone supplementation to see what the net negative results are. I mean, there might be none. There might be a lot. We know there haven't been enough people on it long enough for us to be able to tell as a medical community whether it's good or bad. But the MDs, of course, love this treatment strategy because the MDs believe that the human body is basically a bag of biochemicals and that, the more you can manipulate the biochemicals of your body, the better you're going to be. So they're all over bioidentical hormone supplementation. They're all over hormone supplementation in general. I think it's a bad idea. So I think it's a bad idea. Now, there is a small subset of women whom I believe benefit from bioidentical hormone supplementation, and those are women, pre-menopausal women, who've had their plumbing messed with. They've had their uterus or their ovaries removed. I believe women who are in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and early 50s who've had their plumbing removed would actually benefit from bioidentical hormone supplementation. But after you've reached menopausal years, I don't see any need whatsoever for hormone supplementation. And I know that Suzanne Summers would argue that that's not correct. But, this is my position, and really we just have to wait longer to see how she does and every other woman that's been on bioidentical hormones well into their 80s. So time will tell.
Okay. Would the homeopathic doctor be giving me bio or...
the homeopathic doctor is giving you bioidentical hormones which were made by a compounding pharmacist, right?
Okay. Yeah, it was a compound pharmacist. I've had those for.
How old are you?
I'm 59.
Yeah, so there's no reason for you to be on this stuff anymore. I mean, you got to use your body in some extent. It's your body. You get to do whatever you want to do with it. You can come off of the hormones, see how you feel, stay on the hormones, see how you feel. But if you come off of the hormones, you're not going to be able to judge really what's going on in your body for 6 months.
Okay,
because,
I was wondering how long it would take,
Yeah, 6 months. And if you start to develop side effects primary effects of menopause, like hot flushes or mood swings or whatever, then there's a lot that you can do with medical nutrition to support and promote the hormone levels in your body. But, if I were you, I'd stop taking them. I'd roll the dice and see what happens.
Okay, so I would do, if I need other symptoms coming on and I quit, do I do the HGH and the Women's FX along with lots of eggs and anything else?
I do the Women's Hormone Balancer before I did Women's FX.
Oh, Women's Hormone Balancer.
Yeah, especially if you're getting hot flushes.
I haven't for a long time. I don't know if I have them anymore or not because I've had
if you're taking bioidentical hormones, you're not going to be getting hot flushes the same way that you're not going to be getting a fever if you take prednisone, right?
Okay, got it. Yeah, okay.
So.
And that would go along with a man for testosterone levels. I mean, he wasn't healthy as he is now because he's on all the products and he's doing really well that way. But he had testosterone because his testosterone was lower, and my husband and.
Well, so you want to talk about insanity. Low testosterone is a made-up disease. The MDs
good to know that. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, they just created that disease about 6 months ago, and they just started rolling out commercials about it. Low T. Do you have low T? Ask your doctor if you have low T. Well, of course, every man who's over 50 is going to have lower testosterone levels than he did when he was 30. What the hell does that mean? Is that supposed to mean something? Well, maybe yes, maybe no. Our position is your body knows how much testosterone it needs to produce, and so you need to give your body the raw materials that it needs to make testosterone or any of the sex hormones. And interestingly enough, all sex hormones are made from cholesterol. Now, this is collusion now I believe, on part of the pharmaceutical industry, because they advise everybody to take statin drugs. You know, cholesterol is the antichrist. Eat a low-fat diet and take statin drugs. What do statin drugs do? They significantly reduce the amount of circulating cholesterol that's in your body. So now you have low cholesterol. That is going to mean that you're going to have lower levels of hormones. You have to, because all your hormones are made from cholesterol. So if you're on a statin drug, you're going to have low T. If you're on a statin drug, you're going to have low progesterone. If you're on a statin drug, your hormones are going to be messed up because you have eliminated from your body through biochemical action the raw material, cholesterol, that your body needs to make hormones. It's madness. It's madness, I tell you. It's madness. So eat more eggs. Flush your statin drugs down the toilet. That's my advice.
We don't have those, but...
Yeah. Okay. So that's how we do it, kiddo. You're doing a fantastic job. I appreciate your testimonial yesterday. Keep up the good work. This was the woman who had seizures for, 20, 30 years, sometimes 4 a day. A couple times a week, she'd have seizures lasting for hours at a time. 3 months into longevity, or 2 years, I think, into longevity, no more seizures. I mean, that beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. Stay tuned. More to come. Hey, everybody. We're back in the saddle. We are back in the saddle. Hey, it looks like Alaric is back with another question about his foot. Hey, Alaric, what did we miss? Alaric. Come in, Alaric. Okay, maybe not. Let's go to California and see what Karina is up to. Hey, Karina, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Thank you. Excuse my voice, I'm fighting a little bit of bronchitis, but I just had a question, or I had a couple of questions. First and foremost, my mom had her gallbladder surgically removed about 22 years ago. And I know that the gallbladder helps break down the fat. If she was to take the EFAs, would she be able to break that down and absorb it or not?
Well, there's a lot of enzymes in the digestive tract, the digestive process, that are necessary to break down fat. What I recommend for everybody who's had their gallbladder removed, without exception, is to be taking Dr. Wallach's Ultimate Enzymes 1 or 2 before or at the very beginning of every meal. Because, the MDs will tell you that you don't need your gallbladder, but they're wrong. Right. The gallbladder concentrates bile and then squirts it into the intestinal tract when necessary. So when you remove that piece from the digestive cascade, you're going to screw everything up. So the digestive enzyme, Dr. Wallach's Ultimate Enzyme, puts back into the digestive cascade the stuff that was removed from the surgery. So most people who've had gallbladder surgery who take that product have a much better experience of their digestion and elimination. So whether she's able to digest the EFAs or not, I mean, the only way you can tell is to give them to her and see if she poops them out. But notwithstanding that, I would highly recommend that she or anybody else who's ever had their gallbladder removed experiment with Dr. Wallach's Ultimate Enzymes, and I know that they're going to feel better when they do that.
Okay, awesome. So I'll do that. And also I had another question. She has psoriasis, and the doctor had told her that she has psoriatic arthritis, and the arthritis in her wrist is so bad that she cannot bend them. So if she falls, she can't get herself up because her wrist won't bend.
Gotta hate that. Right. This is caused, from our point of view, psoriatic arthritis is caused by 2 things. It's facultative loss of bone and joint nutrients. Her body has run out of the nutrients it needs to keep the joints healthy. She's also probably unwittingly eating food and drinking stuff every day that's hurting the joints, and she doesn't know that she's doing that. And there's an infectious little organism that's probably embedded itself into the joint capsule. So in any event, what we do is support and promote the body's ability to have healthy bones and joints. And we do that extremely effectively with 1 healthy bone and joint pack and 2 selenium 1 healthy bone and joint pack, and 2 selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month, plus eliminate the 10 bad foods. Now, the MDs did not put you on antibiotics for bronchitis, did they?
They did.
Okay, so you need to stop taking the antibiotics immediately
Okay.
because you want to do a little Google search for this. Well, look, here's the deal. You're calling from California, right?
Correct.
Now, I'm not currently licensed in California. I could become licensed in California very easily because I've passed all the requirements, but I don't currently hold a license to practice naturopathic medicine in California. However, if you were my patient in a state in which I could prescribe drugs, and there are 6 or 7 of them that I'm able to do that, I would tell you to stop taking your antibiotic, but I can't do that now. So I can't advise you nor order you to stop taking your antibiotic, but if I were you, I would stop taking it because bronchitis is not caused by a bacterial infection. It's not.
Okay.
And the overt, stupid, juvenile use of bronchitis, of antibiotics for bronchitis, is one of the leading causes of antibiotic-resistant bacteria. You need, if I were you, I would severely question the intellectual capacity of the person who prescribed these drugs. I may even write a letter to the health commissioner and request an investigation, because bronchitis is not an infectious disease. It's not. So what we do to support and promote healthy lungs is go overboard with essential fatty acids, go overboard with EFAs. Take 12 EFAs a day for 7 days on top of the 90 essential nutrients, plus eliminate the 10 bad foods. I think you're going to love how you feel. Thanks so much for the phone call. Hour 2 coming up next, folks. Don't even think about touching that dial.